history remembers not only great kings who built nations, but also the cruel rulers who left behind legacies of bloodshed and fear. These kings ruled with iron fists, demanded absolute obedience, and punished even the smallest defiance. Today, we count down the top 10 most cruel kings in European history. Tyrants whose names still echo through time. 10. King George III of the United Kingdom, 1820-1830. Yikoming. We begin with King George IV, remembered less for his achievements and more for his cruelty, arrogance, and selfishness. Known as the first gentleman of Europe, George lived in luxury while his people struggled in poverty. He neglected his duties, imposed heavy taxes, and left behind scandals of abuse and corruption. Even his own father called him selfish, and the public despised his reckless lifestyle. Though not as bloody as others on this list, his cruelty was felt in the way he abandoned his people during their hardship. King John of England, 1199-1216. Lin Min. Next is King John of England, infamous as one of the most hated monarchs in English history. John starved prisoners to death, including his own nephew. He taxed his people mercilessly, seized lands unlawfully, and humiliated nobles. His cruelty eventually forced the barons to rebel, resulting in the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215, a document that limited royal power. But John's reputation as a cruel, greedy, and treacherous king has never been forgiven. 8. King Charles IX of France, 1560-1574. Priam dos Posming. At number 8 is King Charles IX of France. Though young when he came to power, he is remembered for one of the darkest events in French history, the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. In 1572, under his order and influence, thousands of Protestants were slaughtered across Paris and the countryside. Streets ran red with blood for days. The massacre not only deepened France's religious wars, but cemented Charles's legacy as a cruel and unstable monarch. Of Denmark, 1513-1523, Des Besmingi. Known as Christian the Tyrant, Christian II of Denmark was notorious for his brutal reign. His most infamous act was the Stockholm bloodbath of 1520, where he ordered the execution of nearly 100 Swedish nobles and clergymen. He ruled with paranoia and cruelty, using torture and public executions to maintain power. Though eventually overthrown, his short rule left a legacy of bloodshed that earned him eternal infamy. 6. King Richard III of England, 1483-1485. Watin Dias Bagmin. Richard III's name has been forever darkened by suspicion and cruelty, rising to power after the mysterious disappearance of his 2 young nephews, known as the Princes in the Tower. Richard is believed to have had them murdered to secure his throne. His reign was marked by fear and suspicion, and though he ruled for only 2 years, his ruthless reputation lived on for centuries, immortalized by Shakespeare as one of history's most evil kings. 5. King Henry VIII of England, 1509-1547, Wei Tswing Menteni Seng. Few kings are as infamous as Henry VIII of England. Obsessed with securing a male heir, he married 6 times and executed 2 of his wives, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. His reign saw the dissolution of monasteries, where thousands of monks and nuns were driven out, their lands seized, and many executed. Henry had anyone who opposed him declared a traitor and put to death. Even close advisors like Thomas More and Thomas Cromwell were not spared. Though he transformed England forever, he did so with cruelty and fear. 4. Ivan the Terrible of Russia, 1547-1584, Vitming Tensek. Though technically the first Tsar of Russia, Ivan IV earns his place here for his extraordinary cruelty. Nicknamed Ivan the Terrible, he unleashed campaigns of terror against his own nobles, the boyars. His secret police, the Oprichniki, carried out mass executions and torture. even once had an entire city, Novgorod, burned and its citizens slaughtered because he suspected them of treason. In his rage, he even struck and killed his own son. His reign left Russia drenched in fear and blood. 3. King Leopold II of Belgium, 1865-1909, Puendo Yeomen 26. At number 3 is King Leopold II of Belgium, who never personally ruled with an iron fist in Europe. But in Africa, his cruelty knew no bounds. In his private colony, the Congo Free State, millions of Africans were forced into labor to harvest rubber. Those who resisted were mutilated, whipped, or executed. Families were torn apart, villages destroyed, and the death toll is estimated at 10 million people. Leopold became one of the most brutal colonial rulers in history, all in the name of greed. 2. Vlad III, Vlad the Impaler of Wallachia, 1456-1476, Wenmindantitis. Our number 2 spot goes to Vlad III, also known as Vlad the Impaler. Famous for his preferred method of execution, Vlad impaled his enemies on giant stakes, leaving fields of corpses to rot as a warning. His cruelty struck fear into the hearts of both friend and foe. While some considered him a defender against the Ottoman Empire, his reign was marked by unimaginable brutality. His terrifying rule inspired the legend of Count Dracula. 1. Caligula, Emperor of Rome, 3741 AD. A1 mean 36. Finally, at number 1, we turn to Caligula, Emperor of Rome, a ruler whose cruelty shocked even the ancient world. Caligula executed rivals, humiliated senators, and treated human lives as entertainment. Ancient sources describe him ordering random executions, forcing families to watch, and even declaring war on the sea itself, commanding his soldiers to collect seashells as spoils of battle. His sadism and madness knew no bounds, and though his reign lasted only 4 years, it remains one of the most infamous in history. Outro, narration 56. From medieval tyrants to modern colonial kings, these rulers remind us how absolute power can corrupt absolutely. Their cruelty left scars that lasted for centuries and shaped the course of history. Which of these kings do you think was the most cruel? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more dark history from the past.